where, just as you said yesterday, the man walks into the home as the hero. All right, so you weren't doing so well. You were a struggling mother with your children, and ta-da, the hero appears. So you owe me that. Is sometimes the mindset. You know, y'all was struggling, and now y'all living good. Y'all move up like George and Weezy. You're moving on up, so you owe me. But why is it that the predator does not look at the mother for the reward versus the children? I don't know. I don't know if you could answer that, Jay. I'm throwing it out hypothetically as to why. What do you think is going through a man's head, no pun intended, when he decides to prey upon his wife or his girlfriend's girl child?
I don't.
Yeah, clear your throat, boss.
This is a very heavy topic.
I know, it's very, very heavy.
I can't talk to it from specifics. I can't say what goes through a mind head because I don't classify them as men.
Okay, they're just what? Dogs?
They're animals.
Right.
There's a certain level of sickness that would cause you to defile innocence in that sort of way, because it is very, very predatory and predetermined for you to stalk a vulnerable mother.
But you said it yesterday, you know. You said it yesterday. You said that sometimes, or maybe what it is, the child is reminiscent of the woman that you're with in a younger body.
Yeah, I said that yesterday because we were talking about that particular one, and we were just going back and forth.
Right, so that could be something that could possibly be going through the mind. You remind me of your mother.
It's still sick.
Or this is the sexier version of her.
It's the younger version. It's still sick.
Younger, sexy, same thing. In the mind of a sick person.
Because we're still talking about children. If you want that situation, you know what you could do? You could be one of those weirdos that sit on the corner and you wait the 6 years or the 10 years for the child to mature into an adult, and then you try your hand. Like a real person.
No, but remember now, we're talking about being rewarded. So here it is. I come into the home, I come into the marriage, I come into the household, however you want to look at it, and I'm here for you guys. I need to be repaid. I know.
You're depressing me right now.
I'm sorry, but I'm trying to get to the bottom of a situation, because I know of a situation right now whereas, and this is another thing, what do we truly look upon as stepping past your place? And I'll tell you what I mean. If a man does not penetrate a young lady, it's just a touch, a grope.
No. Anything sexually inappropriate is inappropriate. You are charged as a guardian to take care of that child and raise the child. You married their mother, and so you take them as your own. When you were a little boy, did you want someone to play with you?
I get you, but
child.
The next thing, we got a caller already.
Still a child.
Okay, let's talk, caller. Good afternoon to you.
Yes, Empress, how you doing?
Charlie, right here between all on, and thank you.
This is a serious one.
Yes,
this is a very serious topic.
I'm sorry,
Empress. You talking about this issue? I know of an issue where a woman already moved on. Okay, and would not allow, married again, and would not allow the husband or former husband and father of the children.
I was just about to say the children's
to see
father.
The children. So my thing is, what would cause a woman to want to pretend as if they have to get out of this marriage, right? They got to get out. I got to get out. Right. Even to the extent where whoever they were cheating with, they turn around and marry. Now you done do all of that. Your old husband's still alive. You won't move on by allowing the man to have a relationship with his children. What happens now when there's a conflict between the old husband and the new husband, and the little girls are in the middle of all of that mess? You see, you know who I hold responsible to correct call themselves Christian. And today's show is one of those shows would make people like me would prefer to change my religion and change my homeland.
Wow.
It's a disgrace. It's disgusting. Some men in this country who has to deal with situations like that trying to protect their little girl children, guess who's their enemy? Their government, two parties crap system, the courts, the police, and the corrupt prison. This is who the fathers have to deal with if they reject those so-called Christian, hypocritical, political gangsterism perpetrated on little boys and little girls. Rapists we have in our churches. Rapists we have in our government. Rapists we have in our courts. Rapists we have on our police force. Rapists we have in our prisons. Rapists we have on our streets. Rapists we have in our hotels. Wherever our children go, they are confronted with a bunch of hypocrites who are raping children. Why? Because for the mother, or either whether it's the mother or father, for someone to hold a job in this country, guess what they have to do? Allow that perpetration of a fraud on children. That is the worst of the worst. This is why in this country can't get no better. Because they talking nonsense, but the worst of the worst, tell those four and plus entities who I talk to, y'all are the worst of the worst.
And you know what?
You know what?
Usually, I'd be like, crazy, whatever. There's a lot of merit in what was just said. We run from it because look at what the legal age for consent is. 16.
Now,
that was passed in the House of Parliament.
I never got
You can't even vote.
You can't vote.
You can barely get a driver's license.
You're still dribbling from the side of your mouth.
You're still dependent on your parents. In some cases, you're still in high school.
Yes, for the most part, you're still in high school.
No, because some kids graduate early.
Some, but most by 17.
So that's the thing. That's one thing, right? And then you have the courts. They don't look at the rights of the father who may be trying to protect his child from a perpetrator. He doesn't have rights because the mother is so blinded and quote unquote in love or just being spiteful that she blocks every attempt from him to be a good parent.
I agree.
Right?
I agree.
And then the minute he doesn't work for X amount of months or whatever, and he falls behind in child support, lock up, gone to jail.
Do you realize?
How does that help?
And if like I said, if people were to be truthful, for those that this possibly has happened to, or you know somebody who does, the perpetrator never has, quote unquote, the look. It's always a person that presents himself as a decent human being. It's somebody who has high social standings. It's somebody who is standing possibly and very active in the church.
Well, we'll look at the church. We had someone that was entrusted to be a guidance to a child. Got convicted.
Teachers
right?
too.
Got convicted. Went to jail, served his time, and then was given back a church.
Like, who does that?
Really? How insulting is that?
No, that's you have repented and God has forgiven you, so
let's move on.
You too shall forgive. I too shall forgive. If God can forgive 7 times, then guess what? I too shall.
It's an epidemic in the States, and I'm sure it's an epidemic here now with teachers with children. And it doesn't matter if it's female teachers on little boys or little
I know I'm tending to lean more towards girls today, and there's a reason for that, but I am quite aware that this happens to both boys and girls. We all are aware of that. But here's the thing. What is usually, why is it that the usual reaction, or if a mother was to react in a docile manner, all right, what's usually the thought process? I mean, because people react differently to things. You know, like when you watch a movie and the voice says, get out. And you still walk into the house. We're like, you see, this is a stupid woman. Look at her, going right back into if it was me, I would have done, and you fill in the blank, right? This is the same. Whereas we can hear of a story like this, where a child in a step-parent home has been groped, has been touched, not necessarily penetrated, and the mother doesn't necessarily, upon hearing the news, because a lot of people internalize, a lot of little persons internalize these things. I don't want to mash up the new marriage. I don't want to be the cause. I don't want the light shining on me. So I hold it in. And there are a lot of people who do that. You never come forth. You never say what has happened to you. But what happens when you reveal something like this and the parent does not initially react? So he's still in the home, he's still hands-on with the children. What do you say to that?
The thing about that is that's a terrible reality, because you should be able to trust your parent to protect you, especially when you confide something so dark to them. I think females, parents, mothers that don't react or make any type of offensive or defensive action.
What do you consider a real reaction? Does it have to? Could it be a retarded reaction, meaning that it doesn't happen right then and there upon getting the news?
Well, something has to happen right then and there, because if just say for hypothetical reasons, I'm a mother, right? My daughter or my son comes to me and makes a claim. First thing that comes to my mind is not to juke up or stab or chop somebody.
That's what comes to my mind.
Right? I need to go and make sure that my child's okay. So medical attention first.
Okay.
Right?
What if there, again, like I said, there was no penetration as such? It's still offensive, right?
It's still offensive. Then we can fight.
Right after.
Right after. But I have to make sure my child's okay.
Yeah, once a child has been deemed okay,
right,
the next thing is for me to tear your head off your body, right?
Pretty much. But a lot of women, they look at the financial security, they weigh the pros and cons, or like, I can't do this by myself, it's just so hard.
So one touch ain't gonna kill you?
No.
Really?
I telling you. A lot of these women in our society are very...
especially in single-parent homes.
In single-parent homes or in marriages where they are...
I don't think in marriage situation... No, let me tell you what I think where marriages are concerned. We as a people are more concerned about John Public, you understand, than ourselves. So we're more concerned about how people going to look at us in the church, how my co-workers going to look at me, how the children teachers going to look at me. How we're more concerned about the outlook and not necessarily what's happening within.
So you put another weight on top of the child. So they suffer physical abuse, sexual abuse, and now they have to deal with the emotional and mental abuse of the parent that's supposed to save them, not saving them, and putting them and causing them to endure.
But again,
the cycle of abuse.
Again, as people,
what type of foolishness
we do not give any kind of mention, for a lack of a better word, or attention to mental health. Once you ain't counting lamp poles, as far as we are concerned as a people, you're good.
Yeah.
If you're not stripping and walking the street naked, you're good. You see what I'm saying?
I know what you mean.
So one parent may look at it as, you know what, well, the child's still functioning in school. You know, she's still a 3-point whatever. She's good.
Oh, she's still... okay.
You see what I'm saying?
She's functioning, so she's all right.
Yeah, we don't truly examine
I know how much
mental
that affects. Is that true, though? She better make that up. You know how these children is?
Maybe she don't like my husband.
Like that.
So
yeah.
this a good tactic to get rid of him.
Yeah, she always been fast.
You would say that? No, people don't say that about their own children.
What you mean? Anything to excuse it away.
Child?
Anything to excuse it away.
But even if you were to say that to yourself, she fast.
You know
right?
how much children get beaten saying that they lying? Where you get that word from?
Okay, but even if
Who teach you that?
If you were to attribute it to the child being fast, what does that say about the predator? Because if you're as the mother saying the child fast, does that make it okay for him to touch your child?
No. See, when you saying when a mother goes with the whole "or you fast" or "you too forward," where you get that from, she's not believing the child. So she's believing that this child has made this whole story up and is attributed to the fact that this child is womanish, where did you get this lie from, this concoction to put on such a decent man that is my own? You know what I mean? Just so you can pay your BPL and your rent.
Empress, let me give you my point of view on this topic while I'm in Wi-Fi. Thank you.
Oh, my gosh.
I love it. I question that myself. These old heads abusing our kids. I am not talking about just young ladies, because the sickness doesn't end there. Young boys are being abused too. I could never find an answer because their mind is not natural. Then this 16 gives consent thing doesn't do anything to ease the blow. Tara says the 16 consent foolishness, I don't agree with at all. What about the false claims by the mirror kids just to spite the step parent?
By the who kids?
What about the false claims by the minor kids? Sorry, the minor kids that just want to spite the step parent.
Okay, here's the thing. I understand that kids could be horrible, and kids could be manipulative, right? But as an adult, you have to know how to protect yourself from accusations such as this. There is nobody that could ever make any type of accusations like that about me.
Excuse me?
You understand what I'm saying? So no, I'm just addressing the thing. What about the minor kids that are spiteful against the parents and actually lie? You as an adult have to be able to protect yourself. Your character has to be of such that in itself protects you. Your actions towards publicly and private has to be toward. You can't be the creep. Oh yeah, going for some water and then sneak into the child bedroom and then you want what for what? You want to tell a bedtime story? Door wide open. Tell your bedtime story and leave.
In the open.
You understand? If you don't feel, especially if it's not your child, you don't feel as a young baby or female child and it's not your child, you don't feel comfortable, let the mother take the boss duties and diaper duties and you just watch.
Okay. Let me ask you a question.
You know what I mean?
Because
protect
again,
yourself.
keep in mind, we got to take a break?
Already?
Yeah. We've been talking a little while. We're going to take a break right now. This is Free Your Mind Live on Guardian Radio. Where just as welcome back. This is Free Your Mind Live on Guardian Radio 96.9. We're talking about single parent homes where molestation is concerned. And how are you able to decipher a predator? It's very difficult because everybody always puts their best foot forward.
I mean, in some cases where the person is deranged, there's a lot of red flags that you could pick out if you know what it is that you're looking for. But in the case where the person is discreet, they know how to camouflage themselves or whatever, it's a situation where it's the child's word against their own. And I was talking about this, especially for guys that are good guys and they're willing to take on someone that has kids and become the stepfather.
Is this why a lot of men, it's a deterrent for them when a woman has
in a lot of cases it
kids.
is.
You like her, but she got kids.
And that's got to be problematic, and especially if you look at them and say the kids are unruly at the jump, and it could be a deterrent. So the thing with that, with men, I was saying it earlier, is that when you go into these situations, you have to know how to protect yourself. You got to protect yourself from accusation. Because your name is the only thing you got.
Okay, so how do you protect yourself from accusations?
For me, the way I do things, and people have entrusted their daughters for me to watch or carry them somewhere or whatever the case may be. I'm a very public person. I don't do anything behind closed doors. I keep it open. I make people aware of what it is that I'm doing. I always have
every step is accounted for.
Exactly. So there isn't a split second that is in question, and I carry myself a certain way, and I will continue to do that because I have to deal with young children.
Yes,
you understand. So you have to carry yourself a certain way.
Yeah, but even again, if persons were to truly free their minds, the persons who were predators where they're concerned are upful citizens of the country.
Yeah, well, it depends on what you call upful.
Well, they appear to be.
Yeah, they have certain titles.
You know,
that
whether
will give.
whether it be not necessarily just titles, but they just are decent or deemed decent human beings.
Yeah, but you never know what happens when you get in personal four-wall space and behind closed door. You could act a certain way. You could wear the right hats. You could be a pastor. You could be a policeman or whatever the case would be. But character, bus drivers, you could. But your character speaks for itself. And like I said, if you have a certain character, you carry yourself a certain way, there are certain things, no matter how much mud a person slings your way, it will not stick.
Let me carry you to the courtroom for a second. And if you were the judge, if you were, sitting in the judge's seat for a moment, right? And a case comes before you, whereas a child has made an accusation.
I'm the judge?
Yeah, you're the judge.
Okay.
A child has made an accusation,
Mm-hmm.
whereas she was groped.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
And nothing happened more than just a grope.
Just groping.
Right, just groping.
Mm-hmm.
And it was told to the mother.
Mm-hmm.
And initially, the mother did not react. I mean, in terms of, as I would do, tear your head off.
Okay. So we're talking about a small child.
No, an old enough child.
Old enough child.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. And the initial reaction wasn't what mine would be.
Okay.
Okay. But of course, in terms of, and after the initial examination and everything, like you said, find out, how far it went or if the child is okay. Once we find out that the child is okay, maybe a couple of days after you pose the question, the pertinent question.
Mm-hmm.
What was you thinking, bro? Like, what were you thinking?
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't an actual fight or an actual. You get.
But you end up before the courts for what reason?
Because now I'm thinking this is now grounds for divorce. I could not want you to be my child's legal guardian.
Okay.
This is grounds for divorce.
Okay.
All right. Would you question the mother's reaction?
No. The reason I wouldn't, because
everybody ain't hot-headed like me.
Right.
Okay.
And then at the utmost, it's still, you're still seeking an exit as opposed to staying. You went through your procedural check. You did make sure the child was okay. You confronted the person, and something did not up with your confrontation. You said, you know what? The hell with this.
Right.
I'm out. So I wouldn't judge the person because everybody has their own particular process. Some people need evidence, and some people react off emotion. Everybody's different. So I wouldn't judge the mother for that particular one. I would judge the mother if the child had to go to a teacher, and then the teacher reported it to social services, and I have a criminal case before me, and I see the mother and the stepfather versus the child.
Ah, gotcha.
And that happens more often than not.
All right, I'm opening the phone lines, 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Are you apprehensive about dating someone who has a pre-existing family? Like, is this one of the things you think about, or is this possibly a deterrent when it comes to dating somebody? You may like her or him, but if children are involved,
if most men are honest with themselves, this is one of the top 3 to 5 reasons.
Yeah, but if you don't have that in you.
No, it's not about that.
No?
It's not about that. Because, see, my mommy always taught me not to put myself in a position that could cause problems, right? So just say this mother is having a hard time controlling her kids, right? Or I deem the child as womanish, rude, and forward, right? We go on dates, but this person, and while the mother's introducing me, this child don't give me any type of respect, right?
Okay.
I'm not going to put myself in a position where I have to deal with this presence long term, no matter how sweet the mother is to me.
Wow.
That's your uphill battle. I wish you the best. Good luck.
Sayonara.
Yeah, because you can't. Trust me. And it happens because all a person has to do is say one thing, and I'm not saying that kids are in the wrong, but I'm just saying real life. Especially, you never know what age you're dealing with. When it's younger kids, I am an advocate for the younger kids.
Okay, but once you hit teenage...
Once you hit teenage and you're manipulative and you understand what hot button issues could really push a situation,
of course,
you have to watch yourself, and a lot of people have to learn how to watch themselves.
Good afternoon to you. Like, celebrate, because it happens to everyone. It is almost like it's a part of life. Yeah. All right, so Jesus. This one is that says so much. That maybe the parent has been fondled themselves. You see, and then again, there's such a difference between being fondled, groped, and actual penetration. To me, as a parent, they ain't no sin greater than the next, you know? But this is what the texter is saying, that some people just see it as, okay, so it's just a touch. You know, nothing to create too much alarm. It doesn't need public... display as such. We don't need all the public. What Torelli saying? It's a high occurrence in this country where fellows either juicing or trying to juice their girlfriend's children, not theirs. See what I mean? That's what I said. It's an epidemic. And I'm trying to get to the bottom of it as to why men have that mindset that, okay, you know, you're not my child. I'm taking care of you, so what I getting? It's sick, but it's true. Thank you, Dario. That is so true. This one says, can we stop disparaging dogs? They are loving, caring, and very protective. Cheating men are not dogs, oh God, and pedophiles should be hung from their genitals. And the age of consent is only for giving consent to someone up to the age of 21. Does it matter?
Say what now?
Say the age of consent is only for giving consent to someone up to the age of 21.
Can someone find the actual provision, please? Because I don't think that's true.
I don't know that to be true either. But all right, this one says, I ain't giving my seat to no one, bae. Where I can sit. You know, we gotta add a little humor to it. Good afternoon, caller, and welcome to Free Your Mind. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey, Empress, how you doing?
I'm all right, you know. What's up?
Great, man. That's my cousin Jay.
Hey, what's up right here, cuz?
Everything good?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, for a little bit, man. You know, I've been out on the gospel station for a while, so.
Hallelujah,
welcome back.
Yeah, man. But I know of a situation where they involved a young lady, the boyfriend and the mother, right? The young lady says that the mother know the boyfriend used to come out because she used to sleep in the front room because the house was small, right? The boyfriend used to come out in the front room, molest her while the mother in the room, and then go back after he finished.
Man, cuz man.
You telling the truth?
So
are you saying that the mother knew?
She knew what was going on.
So she just sat quiet while he molested her daughter?
Yeah, she stand there and wait for her own, too. You know, that's what it looked like to me.
Say what now?
You know, that's, some of the people, they're stuck in society. And all of them should have been locked up.
Suck my teeth.
The mother and the boyfriend.
You're right about that. Both of them should be locked up.
So you're saying you noticed to be a fact that the mother knew what he was doing. How did this saga? How did this end? How did the story end?
Well, I don't know because
huh?
Man, cuz man, don't tell me I call drop,
run out of minutes, cuz? Really?
No, man, call drop, man. Cuz got them minutes, man. Cuz call back, man.
Okay, so let us just examine that for a second. Do you think there is a high ratio of women who actually know but don't want to dismantle the household?
Yes, and that's why they get the term label pimp. See, once you know and you allow it to go on because you have some financial gain or you're afraid to break up your security, you pimp it out your child.
Okay, so let me ask you something. What about you find out, okay, that something had happened, and you continue to share the same space. You didn't move out with your child. You didn't initially, I guess, ask him to leave, and life continues.
Oh, you're just as guilty. You still don't want to cause your life any type of discomfort, so you condone what happened without any. See, the thing about it,
no, what if there's remorse? What if initially we have this
remorse?
Hold on, me and you talking now, right? Me and you. You're the predator.
Oh, don't.
Sorry,
No, this is
very hypothetical, okay?
Very hypothetical.